Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Thursday Night Hang here on the OnoLive channel. How's it going? What's happening? We're back again with another week. It is, what is it? It is the 25th of June. Wow, another week's gone by. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. How was your week? Was everything good? Everything here has been quite interesting and fun. It's been kind of busy these last couple weeks. I'm working right now on a table for someone, and they asked me to make a table for them 30 inches thick out of black walnut, and I'm finally getting around to making it. So it's been an interesting proposition trying to put it all together and figure out all the right components to the table and everything that needs to go together. It's very, very interesting. So how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for hanging out here again. As always, we got some cigars and we got coffee, of course. Always coffee and always cigars. We've got some coffee this week. It's from Tanzania in Africa. And it was one of the coffees I used last week at the tasting. And I thought I keep it here for you guys to try it here on tonight. And I thought it would go well with tonight's cigar. So tonight's cigar comes by the recommendation of George Brightman. Mom, how are you doing? Good to see you. And it is called the Warped Isla de Cocodrillo. I was actually supposed to look it up earlier today, but I have been running around. I took my niece out for lunch. Well, actually, I paid, so I did take her out for lunch. But we went driving because now she's of driving age, and now she needs more time in the saddle driving. So went all the way down to Wheaton to a place called Jollibee. Had some chicken and spaghetti. Very nice, very nice. And she drove the entire way, like about an hour, 20 minutes each direction. I just got to kick back and coach. Fantastic to drive places and not have to drive myself. Excellent. The Cocodrillo, you think I'm going to enjoy that? I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to that. Definitely, Mom, definitely. All right, so let's go to our coffee. We're going to get into our coffee. I've got the little brewer here that I really like, the old standard. Oh, I got to clean it out. This is the Kogu. I was using this last weekend while we were at Capitol, and I did not clean it since, so it looks. Hopefully, it's not contaminated. I'm going to get ill, but so. Interesting thing. Last year, you those of you who know me and those of you who watch the morning show know that I'm really, really against hand grinding. Like, I hate hand grinding. Like, there's nothing to me more detestable than having to grind my coffee by hand with this. But last week at the event, I was like, man, I don't want to bring a grinder. I don't want to bring all this stuff. So I just brought this and I ground by hand everything we made, and it was really a lot of work. And I was like, this is, it's fine. It was fine. I'm a professional. I can do it. It's not that difficult. So we're going to take our bag of coffee. This is Tanzania, and we're just going to fill this chamber. This is the Kogu hand grinder. I'm just filling the chamber because you know what? We don't really need to worry so much about how much we're weighing. I'm going to put a little, it's not totally full, so I'm going to put a little bit more along the edge there, and then put the cap on. Put the coffee. Nice. Smells good. And then we're going to put the coffee in here, or the grinder there, and we're going to start our grinding. What's going on, Tony? How are you doing? Good to see you. Mom's asking, how did she do? She did great. She did great. Overall, I mean, she doesn't have that much time in the saddle. She's only got a learner's permit. And overall, good control of the vehicle, sensible. She's a pretty sensible girl, so it's not like I was too worried. But, her brother, I thought her brother might want to come, but I was going to tell him no. He didn't want to come. He's like, I don't want to. He's like, But I was like, oh, if he wanted to come, I was going to tell him no, because, there's always the possibility of outright disaster. And, I would prefer only the two of us if that was to be the eventuality. Luckily, of course, it wasn't. But, there's a lot to learn when you're driving, right? And it's like, what are the things, my takeaways from her is that I would like her to favor the left side of the lane more. Like she's pretty tight to the right side of the lane. And the hard part about driving that way is that, when you're driving here in the United States and we're driving we're past the driver's side is on the left side, you really can't see the right side too well. So you don't really know how close you are. So I know she's feeling a little bit of like, timidness because she doesn't want to get too close to oncoming traffic, across the double yellow lines. So she kind of favors to the right, but like it's a little bit, there was a couple times I was like, okay, maybe a little bit too far to the right. Let's move a little bit to the left. But nothing, no close calls or anything like that. But I was just kind of like, let's just keep. So it was a bit gentle reminding. Let's stay a little bit to the left. Let's stay a bit to the left because it's about trying to not to like, freak them out or anything. Just kind of like gentle reinforcement to encourage more control. And there was one point we were on 29, which is a 3-lane highway in one direction. And there was this person in front of us in a Honda like Accord, and I was like, "Okay, see that Accord in front of us? There is like that person was kind of favoring the right side of the lane as well." And I was like, "See how much space there is between that one side, the left side of the car, and the line, the lane line?" She's like, "Yeah." I said, "The typical commercial lane is 10 feet wide. Most cars are no wider than 6 feet, so you've got like good 4 feet of like." 2 feet on each side to play with. So you don't have to like be too worried about rushing off the road if you're like, but if you want to move it over. But so she did well. I also wanted her to like, I was telling as we were driving, she's got good control overall. But you know how you see traffic up ahead and you slow down, like maybe I'm a bit paranoid because I'm not the one driving, but I was always like, I feel like I would like her to start to apply the brakes early on. And I'm not saying that she's waiting until like that last moment and then hitting it hard. She's not doing that. It's just that, like there's moments when she's applying the brakes, but I'm like, perhaps let's apply a little bit more brake, a little bit more brake, a little bit more brake. It's just like a little bit more pressure. A little bit more pressure would be very, very pleasing to me. So, but overall, very well, very well. I was very pleased. No reservations about her abilities because, yeah, no risks, no unnecessary risks. So yeah, it was good. It was a good outing. Tony says, why don't you use your Festool drill attachment for that grinder? Yeah, because the Festool is like, it's away, and I got to go dig it out of the sustainers. Even though they're on sliders, it still takes a little effort, and it doesn't. It's not like I got that much coffee to grind, so it's not truly a hardship, right? Okay, so let's put our thing here. Now we're gonna put our coffee in the brewer. So nice, medium grind there. And then we get our hot water. And then we're going to brew. I'm just going to do really simple. All right, there we go. We're starting our brew here. I should probably raise it up a little bit, huh? One never can see that it's high enough. That's a little bit better. Yeah, so we were brewing like this all day, all morning long on Saturday morning. Nice time. The nice thing, Andrew was kind enough to bring a bunch of donuts from a place called Donut Run. Actually, the Donut Run donuts, I'd heard about them. They talked about them. Like, these are great donuts. I was like, donuts, really? Okay, let's check it out. So he brought a whole bunch of boxes. So plenty of donuts. Like, there was many more donuts than we should have been eating. But so there's 2 types of donuts they make. They make, of course, the raised and a cake. And the cake is very good. But the raised, man, the raised had this beautiful chew to it. It's really just a lovely texture to the raised donut. Chewy, soft, just like really, really, really good. Like really nice texture. And I really like that. Like, I'm really impressed. I'm like, oh, okay. And the crazy thing is I found out that it's all vegan. And I was like, vegan? What? Vegan? Not gluten-free, but vegan. And I was like, vegan? How about what kind of sugar sweetener do you use in vegan? Evidently, there's a vegan sugar that is processed without adding any kind of animal extractive. So, for example, I think they were saying that with a lot of cane sugars, they will use animal parts, like maybe animal bone or something, to like filter or clarify the sugar or something like that. I don't really understand. I don't really care. I don't care about whether it's vegan or not, but I just want tasty. And so that makes it vegan. So I was like, okay. So I went to my aunt. I was like, hey, I told my aunt, hey, I've got some donuts if you want. She's like, she's like, there's sugar? I was like, yeah, there's sugar. She won't eat anything with sugar. She's totally like, she's kind of vegan, but kind of far, but she's not crazy. Like there's vegans that are kind of like politically crazy. You're like, okay, that's a little bit too much, man. Do you just want to eat good food? Okay, that's all we want to know. Like my aunt's not too crazy. She's just kind of like, I just want to eat nice food. And I was like, okay, very good. Very good. And why do you keep buying strawberries at the grocery store when it is the middle of June? Now strawberries are like, great. Go buy them from the farm store, for God's sake. It's a convenience thing. Everybody wants to go to the grocery store because it's easy. But man, all I can think is like, yeah, this is the time. And if you want to buy like fresh fruit, this is the time here. Just go get it now. It's amazing. Strawberries are done. It's cherry season. Oh, cherry season. I got to go get some cherries. I did get my field case of strawberries. Made some of my jam for the season, so I'm pleased about that. I came back from Japan a couple of years back, and I totally missed it. I was totally upset. I was like, oh, life is bad. Life is bad. And blackberries and raspberries up near me. Ooh, the cherries were in Lancaster. Ooh, cherries. I should go up there. I should go up there tomorrow. Definitely should go there tomorrow or something like that. Andrew's with us. What's going on? Andrew is the guy that brought us. Thank you for the donuts on Saturday, man. Those are fabulous, fabulous. I love them. We're just talking about that. The vegan donuts. I didn't know they were vegan until later. I was like, oh, vegan, excellent. But really, really much better than I had expected. Like those raised donuts really were like. I would have liked a little bit more presence in the blueberry cake. Like they made a blueberry cake, which I love blueberry cake donuts. Like that is one of my favorites. I just wish there was a little bit more pronunciation in the blueberry, a little more sweetness. I would like just a little bit more, But the raised, man, that chocolate frosted glazed raised, God, man, that was good. There's a certain chew. I was telling everybody, there's a certain chew to it that is just so, man, so nice. So nice. Like, I cannot be, I was not disappointed. I was very, very excited about those. I housed a bunch. I mean, I did eat a lot. Like I ate. They even had this one cake donut, right? Interesting one. It had a green glaze on it, and the green glaze kind of looked a little bit thin, looked a little bit kind of like weird and ugly. Like it's kind of like, why would I want to eat that? But you ate it, man. And there's this like citrusy lime character. Like, oh man, it was good. I was like, God, that's good too. I'm gonna tear that up. So yeah, good times, good times. Sorry we missed you guys from coming to Capitol. That was a nice morning. It was actually interesting to go. I posted about this on my Instagram. Like I've spent a lot of time in different industries, and we spent, when you're in an industry, you always have the opportunity to go and like spend time in kind of the off hours of whatever facility you're like working out of. I've spent a lot of time in off hours, in restaurants and coffee places and food service establishments and other places. But it was really interesting. Even though I've been enjoying cigars for such a long time, I've actually never been in a cigar shop before the opening. Like, so I got there like around 9:00. They open at 10, or maybe I got there at 9:30. And so Tony, the manager, opened the door, and we're kind of just chilling. He's setting up, and I've already set up, so I'm just chilling, waiting. And it's like the shop is dark, quiet. I was like, man, I like this. This is nice. It's nice. And we ended up staying there that morning. And Saturday mornings aren't terribly busy, which was really nice because you get a time to like just chill. Like I was thinking about this. I was like, most of my cigaring is in the evening hours, but it's really nice if you go in the morning like that early and you just kind of sit there and have a cigar and relax. And then whatever happens, right? Because you just got time. A little bit of coffee, a little bit of donuts, a little bit of cigars. Very nice. All right, here we go. We're done here with this. And our Tanzania is ready. Nice. I'm going to transfer the Tanzania into, ouch, to our mug here so that it'll be nice and warm. Oh, yeah, perfect, perfect, perfect. Let's have a taste. Nice. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good. Good body, a little bit of bitterness on the finish. That should be quite nice. Tony's asking, what was your morning cigar on Saturday? Gosh, what was my morning cigar on Saturday? That is a good question. What did I smoke that day? It's already been almost a week, so it's kind of like I got to look it up. Whew. Oh, that's right. I started off with a Casa Cubana. So I had a Casa Cubana. That was really excellent. And actually, it's interesting. Like the Casa Cubana is one that I never really think too much about. Like it's kind of like you see it and then you're like, why would I want that? I kind of like think about it like I think about a brick house. I'm like, that's like a brick house, but it's not. I mean, it's a much nicer cigar, And so George gave me one, and I was like, okay, let me try this. Man, start off really pretty. Like I was like, oh, this is really great. Like that was really enjoyable. Like I feel like now I feel like it's a very underrated cigar. I'm like, oh man, I need to try more of that. And then after that, so that lasted like a good hour and a half. Like I was taking my time. Plus, I'm also making coffee and talking with everyone and eating donuts. So it's like we'll just take our time with it. And then eventually, I moved on to Merdan gave me this one, the Fuente Don Carlos Eye of the Bull. So it's kind of like Fuente Morning, right? It was like Fuente Fest that whole like weekend because we did the 1995 Opus X on Thursday. I didn't have a cigar Friday, and then it was all Fuentes on Saturday, and then Saturday night. I think I had a cigar Saturday night too. I think I bought one. I bought one of the. I bought one of the Roma Crafts, one of the not the Castelluta Murcia, but the Maestranza, the longer one, the longer, thinner one. That was pretty good. Although I got to say, I had it Saturday night. I probably shouldn't have had it Saturday night because for whatever reason, just having those two cigars, I felt like I had a lot of cigar that day. Like it was like a lot of smoking. So I don't think I enjoyed it fully Saturday night. I was like, could have been. I probably should have waited till Sunday to have that. But, well, what can you do now? Too late now, right? So, all right, let's go to our cigar for the evening. Let me look it up here. This is one that George recommended that we try for the show. It's called the Isla de Cocodrillo, which is the island of the crocodile. Actually, I only know that because that's what the Spanish means, and I don't know anything. I don't know anything else. Let's see here. I'm going to look here online because I'm curious to know. I want to learn a little bit about that. So Warped Cigars. It's by Warped Cigars. So Mr. Gellis is making it. I am 21 years old. So let's see here. Comes in a Toro. Is this a Toro? No, this is not a Toro. Oh yeah, it is Toro Grande. 6x52, Dominican Republic, made it by the Tabacalera La Isla, Tabacalera of the island. And it's using an Ecuadorian Habano de Florada wrapper, Nicaraguan filler, and Brazilian Ecuador binders. I was like, oh, interesting. And let's see what it says here. When we embarked on the journey, so this is from their website. When we embarked on the journey of sourcing tobacco for this project, we sought something truly extraordinary for the wrapper. And we have achieved just that with the Habano de Florada, remarked Kyle. It adds a layer of complexity and richness to the Isla de Cocodrillo, elevating the blend's experience to a new flavor spectrum from Warped. Oh. The inspiration behind the name Island of Crocodile, Isla de Cocodilla, stems from the island of Cuba, affectionately known as Crocodile Island due to its resemblance to the unique and critically endangered Cuban crocodile. I guess you would say Crocodilo cubano. I guess that's how you'd say it. Only found in the Zapata swamp and on the Isle of Youth. Well, that's why you're young there, because nobody lives till they're old, because the crocodiles eat you. This homage pays tribute to the island's storied cigar making tradition and the allure of its natural landscape. I wonder, when you say something like that, like this homage pays tribute to the island's storied cigar making tradition. How does the cigar pay? Is it, are we evoking flavors of the old Cuba? I'm curious. That's not meant to be like a pejorative question statement on them. I'm just curious to know, like, well, how does that really take? Now, the tasting notes from Kyle. Kyle gives these tasting notes: rich dried fruit, cream, leather, oak, cedar, and a mixture of spice. So a lot of wood going on there. A lot of wood. Now, in the hand, it feels substantial. Like this. Like, I don't know what it was. 6x52. Is that what he said? 6x52. Yeah, 6x52 something. I don't know what it is, but a lot of my cigars are 6x54, but this feels substantially bigger. Like, this feels different in the hand, right? Like, I think the Revenge is 6x54, right? Why does this feels like a bat, right? Like I've got this club, but it feels nice. Like, that just feels nice. Here's the banding and everything. Really pretty banding. Let us take this apart and take it out of our plastic enslavement. You can see here Isla de Cocodrillo, and here it says Warped Crocodile. As I say, Warped Crocodile, Warped Crocodillo, Warped Crocodillo, Warped Crocodillo, Warped Crocodile, and then there's the planet. Although I don't know what's in the center. It looks like there's just the middle of the Atlantic. I don't know what's in the middle of the Atlantic. Maybe Cuba is, but Cuba's kind of over here to the left. I don't know why or right. It's not too far, but nice gold. A lot of gold here. Oh, that's cool. Look at that on the side here, on the lower band. Crocodillo. There's the Crocodillo on both sides. So the planet is flanked by the Crocodillo, or Los Crocodillos. And then there's more crocodile kind of like skin going on in the band. Oh, that's really pretty. There's even more crocodile here. Look, crocodile and then crocodile. So cuatro crocodillos on the band. Very nice. Very nice. Tony says, in the round versus the box press. I asked, I think they had the other one. I just asked him, hey, what's the good one? And I was like, okay, this is the one. Ooh. There's like a spice. What I think is Tetra fish food would be the way that I would describe it, like a light Tetra fish food. God, that is very nice. Now look at the wrapper here. Look how it's very supple. It's very supple, smooth. The texture feels that nice kind of like a nice leather, like a nice aniline dyed leather, right? Really like, ooh, that's good. That's good. I like that. Man, that's very nice. Like, and let's look at the wrapper. Very overall, color-wise, it's relatively on the lighter side, right? But wow, this is very nice. Like, that just feels nice. It looks nice. Good in the hand. The band is very pretty. Like, that's pretty darn good, is it? Is the lens dirty? I can't tell. The lens is like 13 years old, so it's all like getting old and janky. Okay, so we're going to cut this and do some dry heaving with it. I've got our Cigar cutter. This cutter is 12 years old now. So not such a pretty cut, but not bad. Tony says, in the round versus box press is the reason why it feels larger. It just feels so substantial. Actually, the dry cold draw, it was better on the very first cold draw, but it's still good. But that first draw had a really unique flavor. that my palate is used to and after a couple puffs, but man, I gotta give good strong marks for the fragrance, good strong for the cold draw. I'm gonna say 8.75 for our score for the fragrance and cold draw. That's quite nice. Very, very nice. Okay, now for the light. I can't see with that. Okay. Here's our Uco long burn matches. Thank you, Brian. I have been very cautious with burning through these. I don't know why. I've got other matches to burn first. Okay. All right. Here we go. So how's your week been? Anything interesting happen? Anything bad happen? I just got kind of a whiff of cederness. I'm definitely getting a creamy-esque character on the palate. So is everybody outside, or the weather's nice tonight? It's very pleasant. I'm very pleased. Maybe a little bit on the humid side, but so far we've had a pretty good summer. A little bit chilly. I was outside last night having a fire, smoking a Revenge. A little bit on the chilly side. I was like, oh, a little bit chilly. That's nice. George Sam was with us. What's going on, man? How are you doing? Outside, and what are you smoking? Let me know. Let us know. Let us know. I'm going to think that it's some kind of Manilo cigar with red wine. Out. What do you mean? Oh, you're not at home? Well, why would you, man? It's summertime. You should be doing something else. I saw Rusty was posting on his social media. He was in North Carolina. Oh, actually, he was there since last week. He was on the way back from North Carolina through. He went through Virginia Beach, and he was going up the coast, so through Virginia Beach, and then across the Chesapeake Bay Bridge and Tunnel, and then up the eastern shore of Maryland into Delaware. I wonder if he took the Lewis Cape May ferry. That's always an interesting drive. Brian's with us. What's going on, Brian? How are you, man? Good to see you. So I would say definitely there's, right now at the beginning, there's a creaminess to it. There's a nice roundness to it, a nice flavor. I'm going to say the body's kind of getting on the fuller side as we're progressing into the cigar. I wasn't sure at the first few puffs. I'm like, oh, I don't know about that, but is it just kind of this creaminess that I'm not going to like? But so far, so good. So evidently last week since we did the Fuente Opus X, George is friends with Carlito, so I guess he told Carlito was in town last Friday night, and George told him about our program from last week, and very interested to see it. So I believe he might have seen last week's episode. So good thing I wasn't bashing on him or anything. George says, my figures are typing well. Out on the balcony with the LCA exclusive French vanilla. Ooh, French vanilla. That sounds interesting. Club soda with lime for the beverage. Whoa. I'm confused. My fingers must be fingers. I'm typing on the balcony, but I don't. I don't understand the. I'm confused about the club soda with lime. I'm confused. What's happening there? You all right? Or perhaps it's one of those things. The stresses of work are no longer upon you, so now the alcoholic beverage offers no respite. Tony says it's cream vanilla. I know it's confusing. I don't get it either. Like, so French vanilla. Is it a vanilla? I'm presuming LC is not releasing a flavored cigar. I'm presuming. I think it would only give people more reason to hate them. So this one so far, nice. There is a bit of spiciness to it, but that creaminess is really there. It's interesting because, I don't really get creamy in a lot of cigars. And I remember when I was early on in my cigar world, somebody was talking about cigars having a creamy texture, and I was kind of like, what are you talking about, man? That's crazy. Now, one day I had this cigar, the one with the girl on the box. What is the name? Produced by the Fuentes and the Newmans. I don't think it's in production anymore, but I got to try one of those one day, and I loved it. It was creamy and light. I was like, oh, this is delicious. Like, I bought a whole box. I was like, oh, my God. But I haven't had anything like that since. I would say there's a creamy texture to it, but there's also a good spice and a solid body to it. It's got, like the other one I haven't smoked because I have a couple of them. I have a number of them left. I haven't smoked those because I'm afraid that maybe I won't like it, like as much as I liked it in the past. Maybe it's going to be too light for my taste today. This is kind of maybe that answer, that kind of creaminess, but also more assertive for modern smokers. Tony says it's not flavorful, but they have released a chocolate flavored cigar as a one-off. Oh, most are regular unflavored cigars. Okay, gotcha. I mean, it's smoking very nice. It feels very nice in the hand. It feels the smoke production is good. The resistance and the draw is solid. Like on a pleasure scale, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Devin's with us. What's going on, Devin? How are you, man? Good to see you. Let us know if you're having a cigar and what you're smoking. We are having the Isla de Cocodrillo by Warped Cigar. And you know what? There's more character coming out of the flavor of the tobacco now. It's actually very, very nice. Like I am quite enjoying it. Oh, Devin, I was curious. And when you were in Asia, like in Korea and Japan, did you go to coffee places and have smokes? Like, did you have a cigar in a coffee joint? Like, I'm just curious. Were you able to do that there? Are you still able to do that in certain spots? And Andrew's out on the porch with a La Riqueza and a glass of Nika from the barrel. Ooh, very nice. Yeah, I think we're right at that point where it's nice temperature, a little on the warm side, touch of cool, but not too cool, and there's a humidity, but it's not too humid. So nice. Uh-huh. Got to see how it is with the coffee. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm enjoying that. And Tony says it's nice. It was nice enough today to have the doors of my shop open all day. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Tony, how long have you been working there now? It's been 10 years already, or more than 10 years? I was just thinking about that this moment. I was like, oh, I wonder how long it has been. George says next week will feel like summer. Thursday high 100. Oh, great. Great. And Tony says August 2nd, it will be 10 years. Whoa, already 10 years. That's amazing. So this is a very pleasant smoke. Like it's a very nice creaminess, spice, body. Like this could be a very pleasant, like morning cigar. Like I was saying, like early morning, like let's say if I was at Capitol again, like that 10 o'clock in the morning, sitting there kind of in the quiet of the shop, having this cigar with a coffee. Yeah, that could be that would be an idea, like in a nice, comfortable chair that you're just kind of like, uh, uh. That's all I want to do is I would like to find a shop like that, one that's quiet and like, yeah, there's a little bit of spice punching through. Very nice. It's actually lovely. And it's said here that the wrapper is an interesting one that I never heard about. Ecuadorian Habano de Florada. I don't know what deflorada means. What does that even mean? Deflorada. Let's see what Half Wheel says. In early 2024, Warped announced a new cigar named the Isla de Cocodrillo and blah, 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 blah. Blend-wise, Ecuadorian Habano de Florada wrapper covering a dual binder of Ecuadorian Habano 2000 and Brazilian Arapiraca, along with Nicaraguan the Nicaraguan filler tobaccos. Is that what it says in the? Anyway, let's go back to that in a moment. Produce cigar, blah 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 blah. 2 vitolas. However, the blend of that vitola, the Toro Grande, this one, was modified to include some Peruvian Pelo de Oro in the filler to contribute sweetness to the profile. If there's sweetness being added to it, it's a very, very subtle sweetness. Let's see here. What else do they say? But I'm really curious to know more about this wrapper. Because I never heard about this. Desperada. Devin says, I went to specialty places for coffee mostly. Tried to go to either barista or roaster places who competed. None of them really were cigar. Oh, yeah, they never are. They never are. They're too, whatever. Anyway. Just poured a glass of Borden, a boggle. See, I knew you're having some red wine, or maybe I shamed you into the red wine. Boggle Essential Red. I've not had the Boggle Essential Red, but I've had some Boggles. Very nice quality stuff. And Devin says, pretty hard to find a place to smoke a cigar. I couldn't make it to the coffee place you suggested, unfortunately. That's all right. That's all right. The one place I want to go to in Asia the next time I'm out there is to the place in Seoul that my friend Inyong owns called Kimisa. That's to me right now, that's the number one place I want to visit. All right, let's see here. What else do they say about this thing here? I wonder. So they say this Ecuadorian. I'm totally like obsessing about this wrapper. Ecuadorian Habano. Is that right? Ecuadorian Habano. Ecuadorian Habano de Florada. Let's see this. Ecuador. Okay, so AI says the Ecuador de Habano de Florada refers to a premium wrapper leaf grown in Ecuador from Cuban seed tobacco, which undergoes a specific agricultural technique known as desflorado, removing the flowering tops of the plant. Oh, okay. So I didn't know this, but I'm going to presume that because it is a plant, I guess there's a flowering to it, to the tobacco, that I guess after a certain point, there's a flower that forms. So I guess they take the flower off, although I've never even heard of this flower existing at any time. So I don't know if that's something, but it says that by doing this, it's going to redirect the plant's energy from reproduction to the leaves, and then it yields a leaf with deeper aromatics, a darker Colorado Rosado tint, maybe, and a higher nicotine flavor concentration than a non-deflorada wrapper. Silky texture, extremely fine veins, and a delicate, glossy, natural sheen. Oh. So some of the other cigars besides the Cocodrillo that AI is telling me it has it seems to be dominated by Warped. Warped La Colmena and the Warped El Oso Blanco, the white bear, have the wrapper. But I guess nobody else is using those wrappers. I don't know if Kyle cornered the market on the Deflorada or if nobody else likes it. I don't know. Tony says that Abe Flores had a PDR with a Connecticut Desflorado wrapper. Never tried because we only had tins of Petit Coronas. Oh, I wonder how that is. And Tony says, picture the old La Flor Dominicana floral band. That is, oh, okay, I got it. That white's white, right? At least that's what I recall, which is probably a bad thing. As I puff on it, there's definitely a spiciness. There's definitely a spiciness to it, a bodiness to it. So it's an interesting smoke. It's not one note, and I'm liking that a lot. Tony says more pinkish magenta in color. Yeah, I can see that. So we always talk about well, not always, but a lot of times we talk about the burn. Burn is good, but look at the color. It's got this kind of like grayish ashiness, like almost to my eye, it's got kind of yellowish tint on my perception, but not that bright white, like high magnesium. What does that mean? I don't know. It means something, but it's very pleasant. Tony says Crown Heads, Broadway, Moro Toro Grande, and yes, the Jai Chai Pepsi. Oh, nice. Oh, just Toro Grande. Okay, gotcha. I know Brian's been a pioneer of this for a long time, but I've recently started getting more and more to utilize AI in my work, mostly my YouTube work, right? So I've been using AI to help me craft video outlines and thumbnail ideas as well as title ideas. That's like, man, very nice. And then YouTube has this feature on this website, right, where as a creator you can like go in and it will give you like an analysis, AI analysis of the performance of the videos. And I'm like, wow, it's actually super insightful. I'm like, oh, because you in the past you always like listen to these like gurus talking about different aspects of it, and you're like, but they just talk about things. They don't really, how do you apply that to what you're doing? And it's like, I don't really understand how to do that. Now the AI is at the point where it's like, oh, this is what you're doing. This is where it's good. This is where it's bad. Try this, try that. It's like, oh, very helpful. So here in the workshop, in the garage, I have this air filtration system that I built last year. And it's got like 5 filters on it. And I was like, okay, I need to replace them, right? The filters got a little bit, they're looking very brown. So I replaced them on the 11th of June. And I put the new ones in. And I was like, wow, man, filters are so bright white. So they're like bright white. You're like, damn, that's crazy. Now you can see they're not so bright white. I'm just like, every time I look up, I'm like, oh, it's definitely working. It's like, that's good. So how's all your cigars coming along? Let me know. I'm curious to know. I'm actually enjoying this more and more as we go. Actually, that last puff had a little bit of sweet undertone, like a candyish undertone. Devin says, I just sat down with a Gellis G series and Knob Creek barrel proof. Oh, nice. Nice. And AI is stupid. AI is stupid. Yeah, I'm definitely would say that I'm enjoying it. I'm trying to determine when we're going to be at our first third. Like I say, looking at this more and more, the rapper's pretty, but the band is really pretty too. Like I'm always curious. I'm like, I wonder how much these kind of things cost. Like, how much do bands cost to make? How much do they add to it? Especially all this goldy stuff. It's always so interesting, especially for such an ephemeral kind of thing, right? Like we smoke it, and then you burn the band. You toss it in the trash. I know a lot of people save them. I have stopped saving mine. I did that for most of my life now, and what was it? Why? I don't know. I ended up giving them away to our friend's wife because she's made collages with them. But I'm like, what do I have all these for? I got bags and bags of it. Just gotta get rid of them. George says, what's the proof on the Knob Creek, Devin? As much as it's kind of a creamy, what you kind of think is a light cigar, like I definitely get some. It's definitely a little bit heavy. Like on when I get the smoke in my nose as it swirls around me, like it's definitely heavy. Like I can feel it. It's feeling kind of heavy, but it's very enjoyable. Like I'm very much enjoying it. Like as a pleasurable cigar, as a cigar that I feel like I'm enjoying and having fun with, it's very good. Devin says it's C922. I think it's 63 proof. Oh, I went out and bought some high proof liquor the other day. Got some of this, the Everclear. 189 proof. I was surprised at how much this cost. It cost me like $26 with tax. I was like, oh, $26. Why so much? I thought they would be cheap. Like, if you bought denatured alcohol, a quart of it, is that right? A quart. It would cost you $10. If you buy this, it costs $25. And I was like, why? But and the crazy thing is that this is more pure than the denatured alcohol. The denatured alcohol, they add like acetone to the ethanol, which, will poison you. And I think, they do that because, they don't want people to be drinking denatured alcohol and not paying a tax. Oh, sorry, 126 proof. Gotcha. Tony says, Devin, I agree. And eventually the machines will rise up and kill us all as the Terminator. I don't know why people don't pay attention to the Terminator movies. It boggles the mind. Like, I see all of these memes that people of our age are posting. Gen X this, the excellence of Gen X, the greatness of Gen X. Hey, guys, we're the generation that grew up with Terminator and nobody's paying attention to it. It's like, it's already told us the doom that is coming when Skynet becomes aware and all of you are ignoring it. How can I think that our generation is exceptional when we can't see what's in front of us? I don't understand. And David says the clock is at 12:57. Oh, great. And George says, I would need ice in that bourbon. Gotta water that sucker down. 126, that's pretty strong. But I got this because I'm working on doing some tinting for wood finishing to do colorants. And so this is the medium to carry the aniline dye because it flashes off quickly. But I thought, you know what? I could save $15 by buying the denatured alcohol. But you know what? If I end up not using all of this, I can use this for other things like drinking or making punch or making vanilla extract, right? But if I get denatured alcohol, I can't do anything with it. So it's like, here's a tip for you. If you ever want to make your own vanilla extract, just get a bottle. It doesn't have to be Everclear. It could be just regular vodka. Take 32 vanilla beans, cut off the ends, slice it down the center, shove them in the bottle, wait 6 months, or at least a month. 2 months better. 6 months is the best. Then you got beautiful, beautiful vanilla extract, and it probably costs you $100, which maybe is not necessarily cheap, but it's certainly cheaper than buying vanilla extract. Tony says, throw some of those cherries or raspberries or blackberries in it, and you'll make yourself some moonshine. Ooh. Devin says, George, enjoy how you like. Of course, I prefer to sip it straight. All the greater the achievement, my friend. All the greater the achievement. And George prefers bourbon straight. I don't drink. I haven't been drinking much lately. I was on a wine kick for a little bit, and then I kind of like slowed down again. I got a bottle of what do I have? I got a bottle of something over there that I haven't drank yet. So if we're gonna have 100-degree weather next week, does that mean that 4th of July is gonna be pretty darn hot? Devin's asking, do I think that the vanilla holds its character well? Yes, I really do. Would you sous vide low temp for 24 to 40? You mean like put it on 43C to enhance the extraction rate of the vanilla flavoring into the liquid? I've never tried that, so I don't know, and I don't know if you necessarily need to do that. Like vanilla extract has been made this way for many, many generations. So the one thing about doing it this way, and probably you could do that at 43 and like get it to go faster. And if you're pressed for it, it's probably worth it. But I especially like at the shops, we would never be that pressed because I would have like 6 or 8 of these, sometimes 6, sometimes 4. But we would always have some amount of vanilla working, in the process, so that by the time one bottle we would finish, we'd have another bottle ready to go. So in that case, it was just really a matter of trying to figure out the timing of the kitchen to see how much consumption we were doing at a time. I think throughout a year, we would probably do 12 bottles a year. Is that right? A case a year? I think that's right. Which you might think, oh God, man, that's a lot of money, a lot of time. And it's a lot of both, but it is still, when we worked it out a while back, it was, and here's the thing, it wasn't, I don't think it worked out to necessarily be cheaper than buying like, some of the more generic brands of vanilla extract. Like if you were buying Nielsen Massey, it was definitely cheaper by the same volume. But if you were buying like other brands, like maybe what's that, La Molina from Mexico or something like that, it wasn't necessarily cheaper. But what you gained and what we were aiming for was that you gain control over the vanilla. Like we could then select the vanilla and craft the vanilla, to whatever we wanted to. And that's the interesting thing, is that you can sometimes with making processes, it's not necessarily always about doing it the cheapest way to do it, but it's more about having the control over the process, right? Like I was just talking with someone today about ice cream making, and they had all these ideas. They had different ideas about it. It was like, because this one person was asking about, they made an ice cream mix and they didn't like the flavor. So could they take that churned ice cream, melt it back down, and then make whatever modifications to the mix, and then refreeze it? And I was like, well, yeah, you could do that. Like the problem with the difficulty with that is you to get the better result out of it, the process of actually whipping or making ice cream in a machine is that the machine is going to be set to do a certain percentage of overrun. And overrun is the amount of air that's being injected into the mix in order to create the loft, right? Which is why if you buy, let's say, like Haagen-Dazs ice cream or Ben & Jerry's, and then you compare to like Breyer's Turkey Hill, more or less the weight is the same. More or less. It's not exact, but it's similar. The reason that it's more volume is because they do more overrun. They whip more air into it. So it increases the volume of the mix. And it changes the texture a little bit, right? That texture is a lighter, airier texture versus the heavier, thicker texture of the pint-size ice creams. And this one guy was like, well, yeah, that doesn't work, and blah, blah, blah. He's all talking about what it is. And I was like, well, so I was telling the original person, I was like, you could do it, but you need to get the air out of it. So probably the best way to get the air out of it is to take your mix, that after you let it melt down, come back to melt it all down, still keep it under refrigeration so that you're not getting time temperature abuse. And then you put into a chamber vac and use the low pressure of the chamber vac to burst all the air bubbles in it. Then you could change whatever you want and process it through a machine. And this guy was like, oh, blah, 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 blah. He's like, you can't do that because you get the textures all wrong. And I'm like, dude. And at one point I was just kind of like, I presume that you understand ice cream production. So I don't understand where you're coming with your position on this, because I'm like, it's ice cream, for God's sake. It's kept cold. And he's like, you can't freeze and refreeze. I'm like, have you never worked with soft serve ice cream machines? Like, it freezes. If you finish the end of the night, you turn it off, it stays refrigerated, but it lets it melt back down. And then when you start up again the next day, it returns it and it's perfect texture. It's like, Plus, there's also a whole like mess of things that factors that we don't know. Like the guy that was asking the question, like, I didn't really ask him more questions like to clarify, but I said this is the basic way you could do it. Or you could take that tub of mix and just tap it until all the air bubbles are gone, which would take forever. But that was the cheapest way to do it. But I'm like, and then you could put things like Cremadan and all these other additives you can use that are technically industrial additives, but they can be used in ideal ways to make quality ice cream. But it's really more about getting the right texture. Cremadan, you get texture out of it. You add the right amount to it, you get a particular texture, not a perfect texture, but a particular texture to your ice cream. So Devin says, can I get an ounce of vanilla in my coffee? Yeah, an ounce of vanilla extract would be extra. Would definitely be extra. But in our work at Spro, it's always about trying to find the thoughtful way to do the process, right? We were always trying to find a thoughtful way to do what we do. And not always the cheapest way, right? That's one of our, that's always a difficulty when you're doing like quality in anything. It's not always about the cheapest process, right? I mean, it's kind of like cigars even, right? Like you could make inexpensive cigars, but not everyone's going to find it to their liking. What I meant by that is that like this guy was talking and he's like, he had a whole bunch of tangents he's running on. I'm like, dude, I don't have the information about why they do what they do. Everybody has their own standard of operating, right? They have a standard they want that works for them, that they want to achieve, which may or may not be in line with what I think should be done. And that's not my interest, is whether or not they fall in line with what I think, right? My role in when working with people is that I'm here to help them find answers to their issues, not my issues, right? The reason I can help them is because I've already gone through all of my issues. I gotta say, it's very nice. This cigar is very nice. Like, it's got great flavor, great body, like the creaminess. Like, there's really a lot of things going on here. So body has quite a bit of body. I'm gonna say 875 for body. I'm gonna say 875 for flavor too. Like, it's got great character, this cigar. Like, it's really enjoyable. How are your guys' cigars coming along? Good? I don't know if I said this last week, and I don't know if it happened last week, but I cut my finger last week with my track saw. I was making a cut, and I did something kind of dumb, and it caught my finger. It caught my finger, like, right here on the edge. I was making this cut, and these ripping cuts, right? Ripping cuts are when you're cutting along the grain. And for whatever reason, the saw was running, and the swarf that's being created by the wood being cut are these long strips. And for whatever reason, the vacuum wasn't extracting them fully out of the housing of the saw. And I kind of noticed it as I was making the cuts. I was making a lot of cuts with it, but I didn't think too much about it. So I was making this one cut, had a little small cut off. So I finished the cut, pulled the saw back, let go of it, so it's spinning down. And I don't know why I even did this, but I reached down right by the saw to pull the cutoff away. Well, the swarf had built up inside the housing enough that while the blade looked retracted into the housing, it wasn't completely retracted like it normally was. It was actually sticking out just a hair. like just a little bit of the tooth was sticking out below the saw. And I just happened to reach in and just reached in enough, and it caught my finger. And I was like, what the? Luckily, I wasn't injured, like seriously injured. It lacerated the top of my finger, like the edge of my finger here, somewhere there. I can't even tell where it is now. I think it was right there. This finger right there. Fully healed now, so no issues. But man, I was like shaking. I was a bit shook. I was like, oh. Did that happen? Maybe that happened Thursday, or did that happen Friday? I don't know if I told you this story last week, but if I did, then it was Thursday. Because I think I had the bandage on Saturday morning. Yeah, you know what I'm really thinking about this cigar. What I'm really missing is that I would love to be just sitting down. Like I'm sitting on a stool, but I would like to be like in a chair with my back fully supported, just kind of like that's how I feel with this cigar. This cigar really is one where you just want to be like in full relaxation mode. Just be like, tap that out a little bit. Yeah, this is lovely. This is a lovely cigar. George Brightman, if you catch this, well played, my friend. Well, what a great recommendation. I do have next week's cigar selected. It was a cigar that George also recommended. And he was like, you could just smoke this whenever you want. And I was like, oh, I'll smoke it, on my own. And then I was thinking about it today. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll save it for next week. It is the HVC. What is it? The HVC. The HVC La Decoracion. The decoration. A little bit of box press going on. Should be good. Should be good. Andrew says, Capital spoiled you. So lucky to have it. I know, man. Totally. Totally. I wish it was closer to me. It'd be great to be there. I do like the chair. For me, Andrew, my favorite place to sit in Capitol is the seat that's the two seats in front of the cash register. I like sitting there. That's my favorite spot. Andrew, what time do they open on Sundays? I might have to be down that way Sunday morning because my friend's opening the restaurant this weekend, and I was thinking about going down there to help them and make sure that they got all their coffee systems running well. So I was thinking maybe I'll go early, depending on what time Capital opens. Actually, I can just look it up here, can't I? See what time they open. Go there like early in the morning. Capital Cigar closes soon at 10 p.m. What? 10 p.m. Too early to close. They should be open till like 2 in the morning. Sunday at noon. Oh man, Sunday at noon. That might be too late. Devin says the Gellus is chugging along. The Gellus G. Lots of shortbread cookie. Ooh. It's still in the first inch. Oh, yeah. Man, you smoke fast. Yeah, man, I smoke very fast. Like a typical cigar for me will last 45 minutes. Like the fact that I can make a cigar last an hour and a half on this show is completely out of my normal spectrum. Like it is very odd for me to keep it going that long. Like yesterday I was smoking, and usually when I'm smoking here, I'll be outside by the fire all alone. I kind of like the all alone smoke. I kind of like the whole all alone like thing lately. But I'm out there. I got my podcast running. This podcast always runs about an hour, a woodworking podcast, of course. And man, I will finish this cigar before the podcast is over. The Revenge. And I'm like, yeah, but 45 minutes, 45 minutes. Like I will have to slow down, like especially the Revenge. Like I smoke that so fast, like it starts to get that angle to the burn. So I'll have to like physically stop and like wait. Maybe go take a piss or something. But I'm enjoying it. Like the more I enjoy a cigar, the more that I tend to go faster with it. Like I wonder if I was smoking this by myself, I would probably be done by now. Or close to being done. Like we started right around what? Almost 8:30. I mean, this could easily take us the next 45 minutes, but I wonder if I was smoking this by myself, would I have that angular ash on it? Rusty says, Everclear, what am I watching? I'm using this. I was telling everyone a little while ago, I got the Everclear because Devin is drinking 126 proof bourbon. So I grabbed this because I'm using this as a medium for aniline dyes to dye wood. I think I showed this to you. I think I showed you guys this last week. I was using it to make coloration. This is white sapwood for walnut, and I wanted to tone it out to, to make it. So you use this dye in varying quantities. Like this one was way too dark. Like this one was too dark. So on this side, it's a lot more better. It's better toned, more evenly toned across. So I'm just trying to make my way around with it. Sunday, I'll be driving Lance's 67 Healy while he drives the Jag to the original British Card Day in Mount Airy. Oh, maybe I should come by there too. The 67 Healy, that's awesome, man. Rusty says, I'm on my way home wait a minute, you're on your way home still? You messaged me didn't you message me like early today? Like what time was that? Rusty messaged me earlier today and he was like, I'm in Delaware. You were in Delaware at what time was that? Oh, that was 5 p.m. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Well, it's 9 o'clock. You must have stopped somewhere along the way. You must have stopped at the Woodcraft in Delaware. Then that would be me. I'm the one stopping at Woodcraft. Wherever there's a wood shop, I'm like, I got to go check it out. So I was curious. I mentioned to everyone that you were driving, and since you were coming through Salisbury, I guess you're coming up to 13, or maybe you weren't coming to 13. Did you go through Lewis and take the ferry to New Jersey, and then come up the Jersey Shore? That would be kind of a nice drive. I did that once when I was a lot younger. I ran away from home. I was like, I'm leaving. It's like, I'm out of here. I didn't really go anywhere. I went down to Ocean City for a night, and then I drove up the shore, took the Lewis ferry to Cape May, drove up to Long Island, stayed at my aunt's house for a few nights, and then came home. It's like, yeah. Devin says that'd be some fun ride. It'd be epic. I think that'd be an epic ride. Back when I lived in Honolulu, I used to have this Carmendia convertible. It got stolen. My cousin had it stored for me for a while. Got it stolen outside of his house. Very, very sad. But man, I love that car. Like that whole convertible driving in an older car that's a little bit like janky is just so lovely. Like it is such a fun way to drive. Oh, Russ, that was yesterday you messaged me? Oh, it was yesterday. Oh, wow. Oh, gosh, man, that's terrible. I totally didn't even I recollected that being today. Oh, man, that's crazy. Well, I'm glad the trip went safe. That's good. Oh, that's right, at the stadium. All right, very good, very good. How was your trip, man? Was it good? I saw you were in North Carolina. Did you get some barbecue down there? Like I saw you went to Buc-ee's. Look, I know you guys love Buc-ee's, and I like my cousin. His son for the last 4 years went to school in Mississippi, somewhere down there. I don't know why he went there. That's craziness. But so they would drive down to go see him every few months, and he was always telling me about Buc-ee's. He was always like, "You got to go to Buc-ee's," and you both of you were like telling me about Buc-ee's. He was telling me that the first time he went to Buc-ee's, he was like, he went to Buc-ee's, got the brisket sandwich, got in the car, started driving, took a bite. He was like, this is such an awesome brisket. He turned around, went back to the Buc-ee's, bought two more, and then continued on their journey. I was like that's crazy. And Rusty's asking, 7, what bourbon? The Elijah Craig barrel proof bourbon, says Devin. But I had the chance to go to Buc-ee's in Texas, in Katy, Texas last year. So because you guys are all like, you got to have the brisket sandwich. So I went to have the brisket sandwich. And I think the problem was that I was in Texas. And that locality is exacerbated by the fact that I have done the whole Lockhart Luling tour of Texas brisket, hill country brisket. So for me, that's always the comparison, that style. And so I'm just like, it just. Andrew says, I took the Cape May Ferry, nice, and discovered Lewis Roasted Coffee, Gaia. It was worth it. Oh, I didn't know there was a good coffee shop there. That's awesome. Isla de Cocodrillo. This is very nice. I'm not sure with like the experience of the cigar, how it has, what the connection to the island of the crocodiles or the old Cuba is. Like, I don't know what that connection is, but it's outside of that question that I have. I think it's a very, very enjoyable. Actually, I think it's time to give the secondary score, which I think it's very good. Very good plus, 8.75 for the flavor, 8.75 again for the body. It's very consistent, very satisfying. Very enjoyable. Andrew says, I also tried a coffee roaster in Philly from a shop across from Dylan's apartment, Green Street. Wait a minute, Dylan, did he move to Philadelphia? They had a nice Ethiopian coffee. Oh, awesome. Do you happen to remember the name? I don't know where his apartment is, but if you're there, a place that you might want to look up is a place called Ultimo Coffee, Ultimo. An old buddy of mine in the business, Aaron Ultimo, owns the shop. That's going to be very good. There's another place that's close to the Holt downtown that another buddy of mine owns, and now I can't remember the name of it offhand. I will try to remember that, and well, I can look it up. These will be some nice places for you to check out the next time you're up that way. Elixir, Elixr, Elixir Coffee Roasters. That's very good. Elixir and Ultimo. Where's the Ultimo? Ultimo's more over in the what do you call it? In the South Philly area. Yeah, there it is. Ultimo Coffee. That's a good spot too. I think those would be good places to, to try out when next time you're there. Yes, Dylan took flight. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I didn't know that. What's he doing up there? I'm presuming something with Japanese culture. I don't know why I think that, but that's my presumption. I mean, we were just there not too long ago, and he was still there. So that's why I'm surprised. Oh, Green Street is the name. Okay, sorry. I just realized. I thought Green Street was the name of the street. Or was he there because of a girl? Like, guys tend to move because of women. Like a lot of times I'll meet guys, right? Like, guys you meet, you're like, hey, what brings you to? They're like, oh, I'm from somewhere else. And it's like, well, what brought you here? Oh, a girl. It's like, oh, okay. My wife got a job. My girlfriend moved here. It's like, my girlfriend's from here. Okay. Tony on the road's here. What's going on, man? How are you doing? How's life in the Philippines? Things are good there, I presume. Hot, I imagine. My cousin just called me the other day. She's like trying to get her mom to come here. Her mom and her sister to come out. Her mom, her sister, and her niece to come out. Our niece. In like maybe August. I was like, okay, good. That'll be good. We're having the Isla de Cocodrillo. Very nice cigar. Actually, I think that, Tony, since you are smoking a lot of the Tabacalera stuff, I think you would find this to be really great. Like this definitely has some characteristics that I think someone that smokes a lot of the Philippine cigars would find a lot of really lovely comparisons to, especially the creaminess of the cigar, the somewhat relative lightness of the cigar. But this does have a bit of a nice complexity and flavor to it, a little bit of sweetness in it as well. I don't know how, I guess it's kind of hard to get here, but good God, hot last month. This month is, the April, May, man, is like brutal there. Like, good God, man, I can't. Every time I'm there, April, May, it's like, oh, too much. Now the rains are coming. That's one thing. When I'm in Manila or I'm in Asia, I was actually talking about this with someone that I know in Japan, because we were talking about like dress codes and like how people dress, and I was like, yeah, man, when I'm in Asia, man, I don't wear shorts. Like I don't wear shorts for the most part, especially if I'm in the cities, right? Like if I'm in Manila, Seoul, Tokyo, places like that, I won't wear shorts except on Sundays. Sundays I'll wear shorts, but most of the week, I don't. No matter how hot it is, it's like it's always got to be pants. Like I just kind of got to be a little bit more, trying to fit in a little more. Tony says, sometimes when I get extra cash, I'll get some imports. How do you, like, when you get imports like that, are you able to find the imports locally, or do you have to order from outside the country? And if so, outside, well, yeah, either way, I'm curious to know, like, where do you go for that kind of thing? Like, in my experience in smoking cigars in Manila, it's that there's not very much availability of non-Cubans. The Cubans I can get at that place that I go to, or there's a couple places you can get Cubans in Manila, like Albert's has Cubans, and then of course there is the Tabacalera Cigar Divan. They sell cigars there. I think they sell Cubans there too. I think that's where I bought some. But yeah, it's a little bit difficult, I find. Tony says, I bought a box of 25 Tabacalera Brevas for only 2,200 pesos. Tastes great, Cuban seed. Oh, that sounds great. And you can. Are there a lot of cigar stores in Manila that you can that there? Like I only know two. There's the Cigar Divan in the Peninsula, and then Albert's. But Albert's I wouldn't categorize as a cigar shop. But they are overpriced and out of style. Oh, yeah, well that makes sense. That makes sense. There was a moment where I was thinking about opening a cigar shop there back in like 2013, 2014. There was a retail spot open in a part of Manila called San Juan, and I was like, should we open a cigar shop here? Would that do well? I probably should have. It would have been kind of fun. Andrew's asking, any earthquake or volcanic activity in the Western Pacific Rim, like California and Venezuela? They had a big earthquake in the Philippines, in the southern part of the country. What was it, 7.5? I think it was a pretty big one. Like it was pretty bad. Yeah, a lot of earthquakes in these places. Yeah, yeah. Like I was in Manila one year, and when they got hit by a 7.2 earthquake, like we were out one night. It was like 2 a.m. I was out with my friends. This is back in 1999. We're out, we're partying, we're drinking, we're at the club, we're outside talking to girls, we're having a great time. And then like back then, all of the lighting on the streets was sodium vapor lighting, right? So it's got that orangey yellow glow. And there's a lot of overhead like power lines on the street in the city. And we're sitting out there. I'm drunk, right? I'm nicely lit, and my friend's like, "Oh, look at that, man! Feel that earthquake?" And I was like, "What earthquake? I couldn't feel anything. I don't feel any earthquake under 5, right? At least this is my assumption is that I can't." But they're like, "Look," and he pointed to one of the lights, one of the cables or the set of cables, and I could see the cables shimmering in the vapor lights, and I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I don't really feel it still." And then it hit, like this thing hit us like a freight train. It sounded like a train, like it's rumbling. And it was like sine waves were on the ground was like rolling in sine waves, right? It was like, and man, glass was breaking, like transformers were exploding. And it was like, I was like, oh, we're gonna die now. It's like, this is crazy. Like there's no escape. That's the crazy thing about when you have an earthquake, there's no escape. Like the ground is rolling. And it was instantaneous sobriety. You're like, oh God, we gotta go. We should run. But there's nowhere to go. That's the problem. Earthquake hits, there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. You just got to wait to be crushed. And Tony says, yeah, it's scary. Absolutely, man. And then one year, maybe 2018 or 2017, I was in Tokyo, right? I was in Shinjuku, Tokyo, right by the train station. And I went to this what was it? I think it's called Takashimaya. No, not Takashimaya. Anyway, there was this old like Kisaten style place. Takajima's. Takashima is the department store, but there's this old like coffee joint, Kisaten. All these old guys are in it. It's super old, like old Edo Scott style, right? And they had this big table. So I'm sitting at this big table with all these old Japanese dudes. They're doing their thing. They're all friends. I'm just this lone guy hanging out, drinking my coffee. And we got hit by like a 4.2. And you could feel like this building was rumbling like this. And it's an old like Edo style, like Edo era like building, like maybe 4 stories, and everything was shaking. And we all stopped and looked at each other like it's just gonna collapse on us. Okay, time to die. Needless to say, it didn't fall. It only happened for a few moments, but it was like, oh, that was pretty scary. But they say when the magnitudes jump, like even like 7.2 to 7.5, like that is like significantly more powerful. And if you went to 8, it'd be like horrendous. Like I can't imagine what that's like. It's like, and Tony says, I experienced one in Cebu. Oh man, crazy. How big was that one? We had one here in Baltimore, maybe around 2011, 2012. We had a 5.1. but I didn't notice it. Like everybody here noticed it. I didn't, because I think at the moment that it happened, I was actually driving on one of the interstates, 83. So I didn't really notice it, but like everybody after that was like, "Oh yeah, man, it was crazy." I was like, "What? I missed it. How did I miss it? I'm disappointed." I was on the 16th floor of a condo. Oh man, crazy. 6.8. Oh, that's crazy. How much was it swaying? Like I had a friend of mine when we had that one in 1999. One of our friends didn't come with us. He was in his hotel room at the Manila Hotel, and we were all staying there. But I was on a low floor. He was like on the, he was like 12th floor or something like that, and he was in a rolling cot because his parents were with him, and like he was like, "Dude," I was like, "You're right." He's like, "Yeah, man," but I was in the cot, and the cot was like rolling across the room. I was like, "Oh God, man, that's crazy." He was moving good, hard to run down. Oh yeah, man. You when it hit us on the street, like there, it's so like discombobulating. Like it's like the ground is moving, the earth is moving. Like you don't even think of running. You're like, I don't even know where to go. I don't even know how to move. It's like man. Like I saw the videos from that school in Mindanao just like last month or a couple weeks ago. Man, like that whole building like shifted. Like whoa, in the video, and I was like, whoa, that's just yeah, it was crazy. I thought I was dreaming. Oh man, you wish you were, man. Wish you were. I'm taking off the band. Very good. It's it's a very good cigar. It's not a. I would not. I would not see this as like a powerhouse cigar. Like when I mean powerhouse, like some of the cigars that we smoke, had that bold flavors, very forward. This is not that. This is a very like reserved. Like that's what I'm saying. I kind of have that feeling. I wish I had like a big chair to sit in and just kind of flush myself into. Be like, ah. Andrew says I was capital enjoying the quiet with an espresso and cigar when the DC earthquake. There was an earthquake in DC. They're still fixing the natural cathedral. When was this? How did I not even know about this? Oh man, yeah, earthquakes are wild, just wild. And actually, the crazy thing is that we're having earthquakes here in like the Maryland, DC, Virginia. Like these are very, I don't know. I feel like these are very unusual, unnatural things. Like I just saw a report the other day. They were talking about how the San Andreas Fault in California is like evidently at maximum stress. It's like at a very stressful point. I don't know. I don't know if if that means they're expecting imminent disaster, like California's going to slide into the water. But I mean, they say that. I mean, imagine like you hit like America's not a country that's designed for earthquakes. Like Japan, they design things for earthquakes. They're very earthquake like ready. Here, we're not very earthquake ready. I think that we would lose if like we had a major earthquake hit a city, there'd be a lot of destruction. And Tony says, "Yeah, it seems." I think so, man. But it's kind of hard to believe that earthquake that happened in Japan that triggered the Fukushima disaster. It's kind of hard to believe that that was 2011. Like that was 15 years ago now. Like it's like I started going to Tokyo again regularly 2 years after that in 2013, and I've been going there pretty regularly since. And their recovery was really fast. Like there was nothing that seemed like an earthquake had hit that place 2 years later. 5.8 or August 2011. Oh, 2011. Oh, really? Wow. They're still fixing the National Cathedral from a 2011 earthquake? Wow. Oh, speaking of cathedrals, what did I see this correctly? They're either almost finished or have just finished the Sagrada Familia in Spain. Like I was like, whoa, that's amazing. It's a very like strange looking cathedral, but interesting. What's it, the Gaudi style? Is that right? I think what they started that cathedral 150 years ago. So the masons that started building it never would see it completed. And then another thing I saw recently was that because next week is the 250th anniversary of the United States, and I think it's the Smithsonian was involved with this. There's a commission that was set up like 15 years ago to do a time capsule that's going to bury a time capsule. I forgot where, but it's a time capsule they're designing to be opened 250 years from now at the 500th anniversary of the United States. And I gotta say, I was wondering, like, will this country be in existence in 250 years? Are there any countries that have lasted 500 plus years? I mean, will it be Pan Am that's opening this time capsule? Right? Hunger Games are happening. I mean, 250 years from now, right? Let's say the world continues on the path that the historical documents have predicted. The Federation will just be burgeoning in 250 years, right? Like Star Trek Enterprise exists 300 years into the future. We're not even there yet. Like when this capsule gets opened, the Enterprise hasn't even been built yet. Tony says, I think the AI will. Again, our historical documents have foretold us this is so. I mean, what was it in the Terminator world? Like we're already at war now, right? 2026, we're in the midst of like humanity's survival against the machines. Is that right? Did I get that timeline correct? I don't know which is better. The Terminator timeline, where we're battling the machines for our survival, or the Back to the Future timeline, where we're battling Biff for our survival. Although there is some evidence to suggest that we are in the Back to the Future timeline. Tony says 2029. Oh, okay. And Andrew says, question is, will this planet be livable 250 years? Perhaps not if we continue at the rate we're going. But the interesting thing is, if we as a species can be aware enough to preserve our future, like what was it? Some people were commenting not too long ago about like, oh, look at the CFCs. Nobody talks about those anymore. And it's like, well, yeah, because we paid attention to that and like eliminated CFCs. So the ozone layer is not being depleted like it was in the 80s and 90s. So there's potential for us to save our species, but it's difficult if we're not paying attention to it. But the World Cup is on now. My team played, and I think they did well. Yes, I'm not really watching the World Cup. I'm really bad at watching the World Cup. Actually, I also think it's a little bit weird to watch the World Cup, meaning that like I'm used to watching the World Cup at weird hours, like 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Like we would go watch the games at different places, like at 2 in the morning. because they were playing at that time because they're playing somewhere else in the world. But now to have it like at prime time here or daytime here, it's kind of like I got stuff to do, man. I can't just be like hanging out watching like World Cup. Tony says it'll get wired, that's for sure, but at least it'll be. At least it'll be I guess so. I guess so. As far as World Cup goes, I'm a Mexico fan. Like I've been a Mexico fan for like since like 2007. Like that's been my team. I think they played well yesterday. I hope they do well. I saw a little bit earlier today. Ecuador was like beating up on Germany. Like they were like 2-1. I was like, whoa, 2-1. It's crazy. But evidently, Ecuador, they were saying in the blurb that I saw, that Ecuador had not scored at all in the World Cup so far. So I guess they're making up for it. One of my good friends is German. Lives here in America, but he's German from Bamberg. And that year, like what, 10 years ago with the World Cup, they won, or 12 years ago, they won Germany won the World Cup. We were at his house watching it, man. He was crying. He was all like, oh, so happy. Like, oh, right on, man. If Ecuador had continued after I saw them, I don't think he was so happy today. But evidently, it's really expensive to go to the World Cup. Like I was like, what? Actually, it's expensive to go to any events. Like my niece and I were talking today. She was talking about this one band she would like to see. This one group, this one performer, singer. Oh man, I can't remember the name. It's a funny name that I thought was a funny name. But she's playing at Meriwether Post Pavilion here in Maryland in October. And I was like, well, how much are tickets? She's like, I don't know. I was like, well, when are they being released? They're being released Friday. So evidently, in order nowadays to get a ticket, you have to log in at a certain time when they release the tickets, and you have to fall in line digitally. And she was like, I was trying to get tickets to Olivia Rodrigo. She said, when I signed in, she's like, I signed in at the very moment that I could get on, like when they said that it was going live. They tell you your position in line. She was like in the 100,000 position. I was like, what? 100,000? And they won't tell you. So you won't know the price of the ticket until you actually get in line and get a position to buy a ticket. And then it's like crazy money. And I'm like, why? What kind of crazy? Why is it so expensive? And then she was like, then all the scalping sites get them. They use their bots and get. I'm like, are we sure that it's they use bots, or do these scalper sites make deals behind the scenes with Ticketmaster? Let's say the ticket price is $100. They'll give maybe, I'm presuming that they're probably worked out a deal with Ticketmaster. Give us a whole huge amount of tickets. We'll pay you $150 for it, or $200, and then we'll sell it for $1,000, right? Something like that. I'm like, God, ridiculous. I thought $28 when we were young was kind of a lot of money. But back then, you go to Ticketmaster at the department store and just kind of waited in line and got your tickets and had a great time. Rusty says Germany still made it through to the next round, even with the loss today. Okay, that's good. That's good. My friend's then happy. Tony says the Buevas are not bad for $2 cigar. My new very nice. I mean, I do think Tabacalera makes some very pleasant cigars. I'm curious to know, like, Tony, where you are. If I remember correctly, it's Cebu, but you're getting cigars, mostly Tabacalera. Are you able to buy them locally? Like, meaning that is there a place for you to go smoke locally, or do you just have to buy them at the whatever store, like maybe at the S&M, and then you have to smoke them at home? Like, is there a community of cigar smokers that you get to hang out with and smoke with? Tony says Lapu. Like the tribal chief, Lapu. Like this cigar smoking very well. Creamy, smooth, good body, nice flavor. Everything is really enjoyable. Like it's very consistent, Very pleasurable. It's a very pleasurable cigar. I don't think it's terribly expensive. Tony says they got it at the mall and people smoke at the social rooftop bar. Ooh. Is it a lot of locals or is it a lot of like, you know, expats that are smoking there? At my cigar lounge in Manila, it's a good mix of local Filipinos as well as expats that are in town. And George says the HFS festival was $40 back in the, yeah, $40. That's a reasonable amount of money to pay. And if we were to scale it up, maybe $60 to $100 would be a reasonable amount in modern times to pay for a concert. But I see these places. Like, I would love to go see No Doubt at the Sphere in Vegas, but man, I think tickets there are like $500-$600 and up. And I'm like, I'm not going to pay any kind of money like that. That's crazy. Tony says, but not many places. It's just a small community of smokers left. Ah, that's too bad. That's too bad. Like, I guess, you know, and I wonder how it is where you are. But, like, you know, if I think about, like, here in America, I think cigar smoking is very egalitarian, right? You go to any cigar shop and the people that are enjoying cigars is a very wide range of the populace of society, right? There are people that are in the trades, working people in the trades. There are professionals. There are rich people. There's a whole spectrum, the wide spectrum. But when I'm in like Manila, and this is not just true of Manila, but pretty much any country that I go to, whether I'm in Manila or Seoul or Tokyo or Europe or the Middle East, everywhere, it's not as egalitarian. It's very much like the higher levels of society. They're the only people that can afford to smoke, or it seems like they're the only people that can afford to smoke. And maybe there's also that stratification where those that work in the trades in other countries probably don't even feel comfortable to come to these places. Mostly everyone is smoking cigars or vape. Oh, it's the tax law. Yeah. I mean, we do have taxation of tobacco here in the United States, but I think it's still a very attainable thing. Like, I guess the thing is, like, well, what is the exchange? Hey Siri, what is the dollar exchange rate to the Philippine peso today?
Okay, I found this on the web for what is the dollar exchange rate to the Philippine peso today. Check it out.
Well, how about telling me what it is? So let's see here. Now, my data is antiquated. Okay, we don't want 1,000 US dollars. We want 10 US dollars. So my old data knows that 10 years ago, the minimum wage in Manila for a Filipino was 500 pesos a day. So today, if you were to buy a $10 cigar today is 600 pesos. So, you know, most people that are making, a lot of these people that are making like 500 a day or maybe 1,000 a day, they're not going to be able to spend $10 is a lot of their revenue. Whereas here, $10, even for people working the trades and stuff like that, it's not, $10 is not it's not necessarily out of reach. I mean, that's what I notice when I'm traveling, is that it's not as widespread. Maybe the closest one that I've seen is maybe in like Germany. Maybe. I'm not sure. Like, I've hung out at different cigar places in Germany. Some places I would meet a lot of the locals there, but some places I don't get to meet anyone. Yeah, Tony says it's expensive. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. I mean, the guys that I smoke with in Manila, I mean, they do well enough in their lives. I mean, it's 2 in the morning on a Tuesday night. They're still hanging out. Like, oh, yeah, we're living in a different world here. And like if I'm in Tokyo, I'll typically go to a place called Le Connoisseur in Ginza. There's a couple of Le Connoisseurs, but usually I like to go to the one in Ginza because usually it's closer to where I'm staying. And that's a super swanky kind of place. And it's very like, it's definitely not that. I don't think the salarymen of Japan are coming to Le Connoisseur. Especially now with the changes, 6, 7, 8 years ago when the price of Cubans exploded. Like I mean, it's like I was in Sao Paulo that year when the prices started to change, and I remember I was at this cigar lounge in Sao Paulo, and I was looking at the Bejique Cohibas, and this Bejique, when I did the conversion from rice, was $320. I was like, well, $320, not buying that. I'm going back to my hotel and getting the cigars that I brought with me. Tony says, even for me, but I smoke local mostly. It's like a $350 a month habit. Whoa, man, that's a lot, dude. That's a lot. I'm not spending that much here. Like I remember one time I was at Capitol, and it was right when Roma Craft released the La Maestranza, and I was like, okay, they come in bundles of 20. Great, bundles of 20. So I told Tony, the manager, I was like, okay, let me get a box. Bundle 20, not a big deal. Then he told me the price, and I was like, what? I was like, oh, okay. I gave him my bank card. It was like twice what I expected, but turns out it was the box. It's a bundle of 20, but there's 2 bundles in a box. And I was like, oh God. That's another thing. I was at I have some shirts, right? So I got 4 shirts. I'd worn them recently, so I was like, let me go send them to the dry cleaners. There's a nice cleaners here that I like to use. So I dropped them off the other day. They're like, "I'll be ready Wednesday." So cool. They messaged me Wednesday. They're like, your shirts are ready. Okay, good. Went to pick them up. And I was like, okay, I'm here for my shirts. I had my $20. It'd be $47. 47. I was like, okay, here you are. Here's my card. Damn. I was like, $47. What the? Now she was like, do you want to receipt? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I never look at the receipt for like dry cleaning. Like I just never thought about it. But I was kind of like, wow, $47. That's the most I've ever spent at this place. So the prices have gone up. And I just happened to look at the receipt later. And I was like, what the? It's $12.50 a shirt. I was like, $12.50 a shirt. I'm never wearing these shirts again. That's just way too much money. And it was funny. I put 4 shirts in, $47. And I looked at the itemization of it. 3 of the shirts were $12.50. 1 shirt was $5.50. So that's where I got the 47 or something like that. Whatever it was, that's how it worked out. And I was like, I haven't called them, but I'm like, why is there such a disparity between these? So 3 of them are from all 4 of these shirts I had custom made. The ones that were charged $12.50 were the ones I had made in London. The one that wasn't charged, that was one that I had made in Manila. And I'm like, I mean, they're all tagged, but it all says what it is on there. So they itemize it all. They itemize it really well. But I'm like, what in the world? How are you washing these shirts differently than this other one? And that would incur a cost that is over 2 times the amount. I'm gonna call them tomorrow. Be like, hey, I'm curious to know what is going on here, because why is it so much more expensive? Because I'm just gonna start washing them myself now. Like, no more cleaners. If I have 1 cigar a day, those DJUs, the Don Juan Oquijos, are like 750 pesos. Oh, wow. So it's like 12. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, that's how much we're paying. I mean, that's how much we'll pay for cigars here, $12 or so. Like, I gotta be honest. Like, even here, like I generally balk at like oh god, $12 for a cigar. Oh, maybe maybe it's time to smoke some factory smokes from Drew Estate. Like I miss the days when the Revengers were $7. I was like, man, that's $7. That's a good price point. That's a good, reasonable price point for a regular smoke. It's getting a little more intense now that we're towards the end, but still very enjoyable. But I guess we're close enough we can like evaluate the whole thing, because I think the performance has been very consistent. I don't see anything downturning. So I think we're still at the 875 for both categories, flavor and body. Now, burn and draw, like burn and draw has been very, very, I gotta say it has to be excellent. 9, consistency, very consistent 9. Now, where are we with overall? So we got 875, a lot of 875. I'm going to say 875 overall. Ooh, interesting. So in one of the reviews that I saw, the half wheel guys gave but this was the bites, the small. There was a Isla de Cocodrillo that was released as a bite, like a short, maybe Corona, maybe something small, kind of like I think it was early release before the 2 cigars of the main line were released. So just kind of the whet your appetite kind of thing. In that review that's online, you can see it if you want to look at it. They gave their score 87, which I was surprised. I thought it'd be a little bit higher. But tonight, this cigar, we're scoring it at 90. 90 points total. So a very, very high performing cigar. Very, very excellent overall. So really pleasurable. I think if you have the opportunity to try one, it's definitely worth seeking out. I mean, it's very rare that cigars that we smoke here hit 90 and above. So that I think is very worthwhile. And I don't know the price point of these. They're not terribly expensive. They're probably close to I want to say they're like $16. Let's see what they say online. Let's see, what do they have? Any prices listed? I don't know the price that I paid offhand because I didn't really pay attention, to be honest with you. I don't think it was crazy priced. Let's see, developing palates. What does developing palates have to say? I'm actually just trying to see if they have a price listed for it. Cost, they have something called cost per point, which is like $2.10. I don't know what that means. I think it's going to be below 16, somewhere below 16. but I think it's worth seeking out. I mean, smoke production is great. Smokability has been fantastic. The flavor has been really consistent and really good. Like I've been mentioning, it's not a heavy cigar. I mean, it's got good body. It's got good flavor. It's also not terribly bold. A lot of creaminess, a lot of interesting notes to it, but just not a very which I think is probably part of the reason why it performs well. Is I think that cigars that have a little more reserve to them in the way they express themselves, I think I find them a little bit more appealing. Now it's 54 ring gauge, which, Tony pointed out that, 54, the Revenge is 54, but this feels substantially meatier in the hand versus, let's say, the box press 54, which, of course, is box press, so it's compressed a little bit. But it's a lot of cigar. So 90 points for our Warped Isla de Cocodrillo. Really, really enjoyable. I really like this one. But I guess that's going to be it for today, this week. Thanks for hanging out on the Thursday Night Hang. We're back again next week. We're going to be doing the HVC La Decoracion. So if you get the chance to pick one up in the week to come, grab one. We can have it all. I'd love to compare notes with you on the cigar. One of the few times lately that I've been able to prepare the week ahead. So as always, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Tony, Andrew, Mom, have a wonderful week, all of you guys, and see you next time.